UFC Vegas 97 has 13 fights, a main event that matters very much for the welterweight rankings, and a couple of interesting storylines. My name is Angelo. This is We Want Picks, and I'm going to break down the entire UFC Vegas 97 fight card, giving you my picks, predictions, and bets. Before we talk about UFC Vegas 97, give me 30 seconds to talk about UFC Vegas 96. Overall, that was a decent card with a spectacular main event. Kyle Barallo showed the world that he deserves to be ranked at middleweight, but his game plan was a little bizarre. This is a dominant grappler who attempted one takedown, and I don't even know if you would call it a takedown attempt. But he did outbox and outstrike one of the better strikers in the division. If you want my full recap, this is the thumbnail. Go find it on the YouTube channel. I broke down that entire card immediately after watching it, and I talked about every single fight in detail. I also talked about the bets because we dominated the UFC Vegas 96 bets. I gave you 43% return on investment. Jacob gave you 31% return on investment. We gave you a couple of net units of profit. The safety parlay hit, the underdog lock of the week hit, and overall, our bets have been absolutely spectacular. One of those bets just happens to be the safety parlay. The safety parlay is by far the most stable bet in this very volatile betting world. It is the beacon of stability in a world where underdogs are one punch away from destroying your long tail parlays. The safety parlay is 13-4 in the last 12 pay-per-views. It is 9-3 in the last 12 events. It hits at a 72% event rate. It is by far the single greatest bet in this space. And if you want to unlock the safety parlay and all of the other bets that we do, you can do that now. It's only $10 for an entire month, and you're going to get everything. There's no weird tiers. We don't separate bets from fantasy. We don't play stupid upsell games. It is literally $10 an entire month, and you're going to get every single event in that month and every single thing we do. You can do that now. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. And this month will include UFC 306, the Noche UFC card. But it's not just bets. You're also going to get tools. I do tell you to do your own research. Of course, we're here doing research for you, giving you breakdowns, picks, bets. But some people want to go out there and do their own research. They want to do some tape study. They want to watch some fights, take some notes, look at the statistics. Well, we have the greatest research tool that has ever been designed. We literally built this tool from the ground up using custom code. This is going to give you every single fighter. This is all the way out through UFC 308 and beyond. Every fighter on every card, all of their data points. You can then add filters, stack those filters on top of each other. It will live update this chart. You can export the data. You can click on the buttons, those little dots, the plot points on that chart. You click on it, and the video of that fight pops up. You can watch the fights with your own eyes. You're also going to get tools like the Prop Hunter, a curated set of data specifically designed to help you find prop bets. You're going to get the line movement tracker. This is going to give you the opening odds, the current odds, the win probability, and the line movement for every fighter on every card. This card is all over the place. There's 13 fights on this card. A bunch of them are brand spanking new. So this is a very important card to keep the eyes on. You're also going to get the DraftKings Optimizer. If you play DraftKings Fantasy, you know how wildly important it is to have ownership projections, especially the best ones in the game, and they are preloaded inside of the Optimizer. You click a few buttons, it will spit out a lineup. It'll spit out 150 lineups for you. Every single thing that I just mentioned is in one $10 a month package. We don't play weird games with the tiers. We're not trying to sell you one thing for $10, and then when you get there, actually, if you want to add this, it's another. No. $10 a month flat for every single thing that we do. And that includes myself, Jacob, Artem, and the artificial intelligence. Artem is giving you not only UFC picks, bets, and breakdowns, but also Dana White Contender Series for PFL, for Bellator, and all the regional shows. And the artificial intelligence is picking fights at spectacular accuracy. And then we have taken those picks from the robot and we've developed betting systems around them. If you don't understand my enthusiasm here and how proud I am of the premium product that I've built, then I am doing this all wrong, because we are insanely proud of what we built. We are insanely confident in our product. It is only $10 a month, and that's because we know we are the kings of this space as far as value is concerned. We have almost 4,000 premium members. Sign up now, WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. Let's go ahead and break down the UFC Vegas 97 fight card. Couple of notes here. There are no fights this coming weekend. This card, the one I'm breaking down, is in 2 weeks. That's why it's very important to get ahead of the line movement, because the line's going to start to trickle. It's going to start to move, and then it's going to take off. So if you care about some of these fights, you want to bet on some of these fights, do it now because the value disappears over that 2-week period. The other note to make here is we got a couple of random fights. We have some brand new fights that were just slapped together. We have this fight here. Zygimantas Ramaska taking on Nathan Fletcher. This was supposed to be last night at UFC Vegas 96. But Nathan Fletcher had an injury. They didn't say what his injury was. If you guys heard it or if you know, let me know in the comments. I am curious. They didn't say what his injury. They just said a medical issue. I don't know if that was related to a weight cut. I don't know if the dude just had really bad diarrhea. I don't know what that problem was. They just said a medical issue. Obviously, they're not too concerned about it if they just rebooked him 2 weeks later. It couldn't have been that bad if in 14 days he can just walk in that cage and fight again, no problem. But either way, we're going to break this down. We got Zygimantas Ramaska taking on Nathan Fletcher. Zygimantas Ramaska and Nathan Fletcher are both in unique situations. They were both on The Ultimate Fighter, this past season of The Ultimate Fighter. And neither one of them got to go to the finale, even though they didn't lose their fights. And that's because Zygimantas had some injuries. I think they said a facial fracture in his win. Nathan Fletcher broke his leg in his win, and that didn't stop him from fracturing forward. So now we sort of have filming is done. There's been plenty of time to heal. Now let's have them fight each other and see what we get. Zygimantas Ramaska is an interesting guy to break down because he's very fast. He's very dangerous. He's constantly moving, constantly throwing. He stands insanely tall. He never shies away from a firefight. He's got that constant pressure, but he can be taken down. Luckily, even on the ground, he's just working, always doing something, always looking to do some damage. He's taking on Nathan Fletcher. Nathan Fletcher is coming out of that same fight camp as Paddy Pimblett and Molly McCann. He's got that similar forward pressure, I'm not afraid of anything type style. Nathan's pretty well-rounded. He's got solid grappling, solid striking. He's always looking for a finish on his side, and he has a decent chin. Nathan's the favorite here, and he at least was the favorite last night at UFC Vegas 96. I don't know if the injury is going to affect this line. I don't even know what the medical condition was, right? If the guy ate some gas station sushi and got some diarrhea, he'll be fine. But if he rolled his ankle hopping off the scale, or if something more meaningful happened, he cut too much weight, didn't rehydrate correctly, and that was a problem, well, he's going to have that lingering health issues in 2 weeks. So I don't know what it was, and that is very important. That's not something we can just ignore. So until we find out, I'm not comfortable betting on this fight. I was going to pick Nathan. I'm still going to pick Nathan. If they say he can fight in 2 weeks, we have to assume he can fight in 2 weeks. But again, if this was weight cut related and he cut too much weight, didn't rehydrate properly, was vomiting, had all sorts of issues like that, well, that's obviously not a guy we can put our money on. But Nathan Fletcher is going to be the pick, and that's because he has a good chin. That's because he will move forward. That's because I think Nathan can catch Ramaska. Ramaska gets chinned a little bit. So even though Ramaska's got that forward pressure, he can get hit. He can get dropped. He can get beat up. And Nathan Fletcher pressures. Nathan Fletcher hits hard. Nathan Fletcher can also wrestle, grapple, do all those things. I think Nathan Fletcher is going to win this fight. But again, we need to be very careful, not knowing why this guy's fight was canceled. And we know it's his fault. That's pretty important information. Then we have a battle of the stay relevance, we'll say. Both of these guys are on interesting fight streaks here. Ryan Spann is on a 3-fight losing skid. Ovince Preux just snatched victory from the depths of hell in an underdog win that was certainly going to have him cut. So we have two guys competing here for relevance to stay in the UFC, essentially. Yes, Ovince is coming off of a win, but the unfortunate streak he was on before that win and his age don't bode well for him in his UFC future. But Ovince Preux is good. He's a talented guy. He's made some career missteps, right? He's bounced between heavyweight and light heavyweight. He's done some short notice things, and that hasn't always worked out for him. But he has the skills. He averages a little more than 1 takedown per fight. He really only wrestles when the opportunity just falls into his lap and somebody's like, here, go ahead, take me down. He is frustrating to watch because you know he's powerful, you know he's fast, you know he's talented, but he doesn't let his hands go. It's just like a staring contest half the time. He's always one punch at a time, very low volume. He's coming off that upset win over Kennedy and Chukwu where neither guy looked great. Kennedy didn't look good either. Kennedy was like a minus 600 favorite. He didn't look good in that fight either, but Ovince was able to show his toughness at his advanced age. He's taking on Ryan Spann. Ryan Spann, a beast. You can see the stats here. Ovince is no small guy for this weight class, and Ryan is going to be much larger. He's 6'5". He's a powerhouse. He has an insane long reach. He's listed at 79 inches on this graphic. He is listed at 81 inches in other places. So it depends which one you trust. I just went with the official UFC stat, but you can see 81-inch reach listed in some other more notable sources as well. So we're just going to go with the official stats so it stays consistent. But Ryan Spann is a giant. He is very long. He is very dangerous. He has 18 stoppages in his 21 wins. But he's not just one-punch knockout power. He can wrestle. He averages more than one takedown per fight. 12 of his stoppages are by submissions. And yeah, he's not running around playing the guard game, but he will snatch something up in a scramble. He will make something happen. He's incredibly dangerous. He has the cardio to push a pace for full 25 if this was a main event, certainly 15 in this case. He is coming off that third loss in a row, this time to Bogdan Guskov. This is absolutely a win or go home type setup. Yes, I know Ovince is coming off of a win, but it was boring as shit. He is old. And the UFC doesn't like old guys or boring fighters. Two aging vets. They have been struggling. Even though Ovince has the more recent win, as I mentioned, I don't think he's going to win here. Ryan is still dangerous. He likely takes this. Ryan is not going to be as gun-shy as Kennedy was, Ovince's last opponent. Ryan's far more physically imposing. Ryan's very tall. He's very big. He will move forward. He will bomb away. He has an okay chin himself. I'm hoping for a 2.5 round line because I don't think this fight is going to go the distance. I think Ryan Spann is going to win. I think Ryan Spann wins inside the distance. So let's go ahead and wait for those prop bets. Let's see what happens when the lines drop. But Ryan Spann is going to be the pick here. You kind of got to go in that direction. But I would be careful betting. Like ultimately, as good as Ryan Spann can be, as big as he is, he's unreliable. I mean, the guy's on a 3-fight skid. He's a little unreliable. Then we have Rongzhu taking on Chris Padilla. I'm going to be walking through this card. I'm going to be talking about some interesting odds, some weird setups, some weird matchups. This is going to be one of those situations. We have some interesting odds here. But first, we'll start with the fighters. We got Rongzhu. He's a good striker. He's going to pick his shots well. He's got solid power. When he is moving forward, he's dictating the pace. He's a killer. But when he's being backed up and when he's reacting, he can end up a step behind. He has a negative striking differential, and that is crazy because he averages more than 2 takedowns per fight. He has a 63% takedown accuracy, and all of that means that he spends a good amount of his fights on the ground, and he still manages to get hit in the face more than he hits his opponents. He's taking on Chris Padilla. Chris Padilla is a well-rounded guy. He's had some mixed success on the local scene. He likes to come forward. He will briefly strike. He'll move to a clinch. He'll work in a takedown. He's not great at anything, but he does pressure forward, and he is pretty durable. He's very explosive, especially with his takedowns, but he can struggle sort of keeping people there, right? People can pop right up on him. He's coming off the short notice win over James Yantop when he popped into the UFC, and we just saw how insanely tough Yantop was at UFC Vegas 96. This is a weird spot. Rongzhu is on a 4-fight win streak, but those are regional wins. You're going to see the data listed in the UFC because it's the road to the UFC tournament, but those are regional wins. Rongzhu headhunts, and if he doesn't find that power or if he doesn't get one of those takedowns, he can struggle. Chris is a well-rounded guy. He has multiple ways to win this fight. He's not very dangerous, but he has experience. He has composure. His ability to snatch things up in scrambles can suit him well here. So I am going to go out on a limb. I'm picking the dog, and I'm going with Chris Padilla. And I believe this is the second underdog I've picked on this card already, and we are only 3 fights in. But Chris Padilla is going to be the pick. I'm not going to let the road to the UFC wins be sort of a scale tipper for me. I'm going to go with the fights that I have seen from Rongzhu. We're going to go with the fights I've seen from Chris Padilla, and I am going to factor in the level of the opponent, and that's how I ended up on Chrissy Baby. Then we have Yizha, Vegas to LA, something to Africa. I no idea where that came from. I know the song, London to Ibiza. That's why I said Yizha. There we go. Taking on Gabriel Santos. I don't have a catchy tune for him. This is another interesting fight. This is a grappler versus grappler matchup. So who's going to get these takedowns first? Who's going to dictate that pace is going to determine who wins this fight. Gabriel Santos is very aggressive. He's going to charge forward. He'll bomb away with 1-2s. And then when you have backed all the way up to the cage, he'll work in a takedown so he can ground and pound or submit you. He's not very technical, certainly not in the striking, but he does throw fast and he does throw with power. He can be hittable. His striking is really there just to overwhelm you, so that he can work in a takedown. He has Muay Thai experience, but it's not very high level. He's fast, he's strong, he has slick submissions, but he is struggling to find success in the UFC. He's taking on Yizha, or Jia Yi. He's a powerful grappler. He uses kicks to manage range, and then he'll work in close to get some hands on you and drag you to the ground. He is very strong. He does a good job elevating his opponents, meaning he will get to the body. He will literally pick you up. He will get your feet off of the ground and work in a takedown. Once you hit the ground, he's constantly looking for a submission. He can struggle maintaining, meaning like you can pop up on him, you can scramble out. If you look at his stats, you're going to see he averages a little more than 4.5 takedowns per fight, but that's because he's looking for submissions. He's headhunting on the ground, trying to make something happen, and people just squirm out of there and stand up, so he's got to go back to the takedown and restart that cycle. Grappler versus grappler. They both have the same game plan here, and I do think Yizha gets it done. He has proven that he doesn't even need a takedown to find submissions. So even if Gabriel can close the distance and get his first takedown, I can see Yizha finding some success. Odds don't exist yet completely for this fight, but if for some reason Yizha's a dog, I'm probably going to look to put some action there. I do think Yizha's going to get this done, but this is another interesting fight with some regional wins squeaking their way to the UFC. Then we have Andre Petroski on the comeback trail, taking on Dylan Budka. Andre Petroski, we've broken him down 100 times over. A very inconsistent, but a very good fighter. He's a very good wrestler. He's got very good takedowns. His stand-up is just okay, but he has a ton of power in there, and he can set up the takedowns with the power in his hands. When he does shoot takedowns, they are fast and they are clean. He has solid BJJ as well, and he'll use that to control positions, maybe snatch something up. He is coming off that bounce-back win over Josh Freem, where he had 3 takedowns and an insane amount of control time. It was literally about as straightforward and dominant as you can be without a finish and really only using grappling. He's taking on Dylan Budka. This guy's a solid grappler with big takedowns. He will lower his level. He will shoot a takedown right up the middle instead of looking for clinches or trips. When he gets to the ground, he does a good job working to positions and then taking his time. He's not rushed on the ground. He'll look for a submission instead of a TKO. He will settle into positions, try to get you to make a mistake. He's not a very good striker, but he has no issues charging forward and letting those hands fly. He's coming off that TKO loss to Cesar Almeida, where he had a beautiful blast double and relentless takedown attempts. I hate almost all the odds on this card. I do not love the betting odds, at least not yet. And we'll see if things start to level off or if there's some clear spots in a little bit. But for now, Andre Petroski is almost a 3-1 favorite. And yes, I do think he wins, but a 3-1 favorite, a guy who knocked himself out shooting a takedown, a guy who only landed 12 significant strikes in his last fight. Andre has the power in his hands. He certainly has the offensive wrestling, but if he waits and Dylan starts shooting, well, Andre on his back might be an issue. Andre is the pick here because he has more ways to win, but he's one of the most unreliable guys at this weight class. And I'm going to be monitoring that line movement tracker to see if we can get some better value. Maybe money starts to come in on Budka. All of a sudden, Andre Petroski is a -150, and that makes a lot more sense. But right now, -270, no thank you. I'll keep my money and watch from the couch. Then we have Isaac Dulgarian taking on Brendon Marotte. Isaac Dulgarian squarely the largest favorite on this card. I think officially the biggest favorite on the year. He's a -2,300 favorite. That's way bigger than Bo Nickel was in his fight this year. So we got Isaac Dulgarian, the -2,300 favorite, taking on Brendon Marotte. Isaac Dulgarian, he is a legit prospect, though. He's very exciting to watch. You can't even type half of his name into YouTube to do some research without seeing literally 100-something wrestling matches popping up. He was a solid high school wrestling. He had success both in traditional wrestling and folk style, as well as the international freestyle. He's a solid striker. He stays light on his feet. He'll engage, and then there's a takedown attempt, and bang, he shoots that takedown. Once he takes you down, he is an absolute beast on top. He is coming off that controversial loss to C-Rod, where he dominated 1 7/8 of a round, and then he got tired. He slowed down. He got beat up in the 3rd round, but I will never forget what a bad decision that was. Literally. 20 years from now, we'll be talking about horrible decisions in the UFC, and the two that will hit my mind instantly will be Isaac Dulgarian and then Michael Bisping over Matt Hamill way back in the day. If you don't know that fight, Matt Hamill was deaf. He was on The Ultimate Fighter. He fought Michael Bisping at home, beat him, and the judges gave it the other way. So it is what it is. Terrible decision in Isaac's last fight. And he's got a little bit of a rebound fight here. They said, here's Brendon Marotte, a solid striker who likes to bounce in and out before committing and throwing power. Brendon Marotte is a Northeast guy, and he's Northeast tough. I know. Bang, bang. He's well-rounded. He has no issues initiating takedowns. He has no issues grappling. I call him a striker if I'm going to put him in any category, because that's really his go-to. But he does get hit often. And then he'll cover up, he'll back up a little bit and start to wrestle. He is more hittable than you want him to be, but that doesn't stop him from pressuring forward and chasing finishes. Isaac, tremendous favorite here, minus 2,300. That translates to 96% in the implied odds. So if you said, oh, what percent chance does Brendon Marotte have to win here? The odds say 4 if you're looking at Isaac's side. And I agree with that. I think Isaac absolutely beats the shit out of Brendon Marotte. I think he takes him down. I think he smokes him. We just watched Francis Marshall look phenomenal at UFC Vegas 96, and Isaac Dulgarian steamrolled that dude. I think he steamrolls Brendon Marotte here, but the money is long gone. It's long gone. I know I get messages every week. Angelo, please do a 5, 6, 7, 8 leg parlay, please. And I say, no, that's crazy. Those don't hit. Of course the odds are crazy because it's not going to hit. I'm not going to do that. We're out here winning week in and week out with solid, logical, straightforward bets, and we're going to stick to that because it's working. I got a message this morning. I know you don't like to put up the long parlays because they miss and then people will complain, blah, blah, blah. But I only put $1 on this and it made me this much. No. And the reason I'm going on this rant is because I'm positive I'm going to see. This is what's going to happen. Hopefully we have a good night and the bets hit. And then hopefully what normally happens is we get tons of DMs. We get tons of tweets. We have people posting like crazy in our Discord. Here's my ticket. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. Bang, 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 bang. Here's my money. And I'm going to see a whole bunch of parlays with freaking Isaac Dulgarian in there at minus $2,300. That is not worth it. It is not worth adding 30 cents to your payout, but bringing in the risk of a fight. Look what happened in Isaac's last fight. He beat the piss out of C-Rod for 2 freaking rounds, and he still didn't get a decision. The dude could roll his ankle. He could get clipped. Like, it's a fist fight. Anything can happen. Of course he should win, and I agree with the odds of him at 96% chance to win this fight. But you can't put somebody with odds that are that far gone in your parlay. The risk isn't worth the reward. That's just my PSA. And he's going to win, and people are going to share the tickets and be like, but he won. Sometimes it's not worth the risk, damn it. Isaac Dulgarian is the very, very confident pick. And before we move on to the main card, let me give you $50. Go to WeWantPicks.com/bets. On that page, you'll see some affiliate links for some sports books. You click the button, you go there, you make an account, you deposit some money, and we send you $50 as a thank you. And that's because it's affiliate marketing. They're going to pay me. They're going to be like, Angelo, one of these people used your link. Here's a couple of bucks. And I'm going to take that money. I'm going to slice it, and I'm going to give some of it right back to you. WeWantPicks.com/bets. Sign up, make a deposit. We'll send you $50. You can use that money for anything you want. Go get yourself a nice cheeseburger. Put it in your kid's college fund, or become a premium member if you aren't already. Premium membership's only $10 a month, so then you still have $40. Premium membership comes with tools, bets, insight, picks, artificial intelligence, so many freaking things. One of those things is the safety parlay. The safety parlay continues to be dominant. It hit last night. It hit the week before. It hits at a 72% event rate. If you watch 100 UFCs, the safety parlay will hit in 72 of them. And that is incredible long-term value. The short-term value has been there as well. WeWantPicks.com. Click become a member at the top. It's freaking $10 for an entire month. You're going to get 4 safety parlays, essentially, every single event in a month. And before we move on to the main card, go watch my vlog, for shit's sake. If you don't know, and I have to put it in this video because this video does 20-something thousand views. The vlog gets like 3,000. I don't get it. Oh, maybe I do. Nobody cares about the vlogs. Solve that. Well, let me move on. Solve that riddle. The reality is what we do for pay-per-views is we film a vlog. You follow me throughout the day. And some of it is just literally me living my life, going to my children's sporting events. But then we cook some good food. We got people that come over. We record ourselves watching the fights. The entire 3-hour pay-per-view, we record ourselves. You get our raw live reactions. You get to hear some banter, some bullshit. The guys hanging out, being guys. Check out the vlog. The vlog for UFC 30, what the hell card was that? 5 is up right now. It was a fun one to film. Watch the damn vlogs. They are quite literally the hardest videos to make and the most expensive. I have to pay somebody to edit them because I don't know how to edit. Watch the vlogs, please, and thank you. Opening up the UFC Vegas 97 main card, and I don't know if this is a true statement. This is just the fight order listed today. Again, these fights are not for 13 days. The fight order is going to change. We are certainly going to have some drop fights, some short notice matchups. Like this, every single time we get a break like this, the card after it ends up being just a hot mess of ins and outs and changes and all sorts of nonsense. But for now, listed as the main card opener, we have Jaqueline Amorim taking on Vanessa Demopoulos. Jaqueline Amorim, very talented grappler. She is a no-gi and a gi BJJ world champion. She has takedowns with blast doubles. She has a whole bunch of submissions. She also has power in her hands. She's a genuine threat anywhere a fight can go. She comes forward like a buzzsaw. She cuts through everything in front of her. Her striking is a little wide and raw, but again, the power is insane. You don't see too many people at this size in this weight class that do have that kind of power in her hands. Jaqueline can knock you out. She can submit you. And she's coming off that very quick win over Corey McKenna, where she basically submitted Corey twice. She's taking on Vanessa Demopoulos. Vanessa Demopoulos is a solid striker who likes the pocket. She doesn't have real power, but she does have volume and footwork. If she does get to the ground, Vanessa's got some good grappling. She can try to make something happen. Her takedown defense is low at 30%. It will definitely be tested in this fight. She's coming off a close win over Emily Ducote, and that is a theme. Vanessa Demopoulos has snatched a couple of close wins away on those scorecards. This fight could look exactly like Jaqueline Amorim's last fight, right? A mistake, a poor fight IQ moment made by her opponent, and then she ends with a submission win. And I'm not a cage karma kind of guy. Jacob actually tends to be a cage karma guy. I'm not a cage karma guy. But Vanessa, as I mentioned, has some karma coming her way. She has taken a few insanely close, albeit controversial, if you will, decisions. And eventually she is going to pay the piper. A loss is coming her way. Vanessa might be the busier striker, and she will definitely score in the judges' eyes on her feet. But the 30% takedown defense will be a very real problem for her. And I think Jaqueline will exploit some of those grappling holes. So Jaqueline Amorim is going to be the pick. We're going to watch the line movement tracker, see if we can get some value there. And certainly if we get a 2.5 round line, I might shoot my shot and do the under. Because Jaqueline Amorim is wildly dangerous and Vanessa can be taken down. She's also light. I picked her right up. This is from the UFC 303 vlog. Saw her, I picked her ass right up. Very light. Check out that vlog too. That was more fun of a vlog. Jacob and I went out to UFC 303, International Fight Week, filmed all the things. Check out that vlog as well. Full playlist on the YouTube channel. Then we have Andre Lima taking on Felipe dos Santos. We do not have odds for this fight, and I am drooling, foaming at the mouth, chomping at the bit to bet on this fight. The second these odds drop, assuming that they don't look like Isaac Dulgarian's odds, I'm going to be all over this fight. So if you're a premium member, for now, link your Discord. Premium is the website. I cannot tell you guys how many emails I get every week. Hey, I signed up for premium. How do I see the bets in the Discord? The bets are in the Discord for premium members, but premium is the website. We have spent an enormous amount of money, an enormous amount of time. Web guy Josh lives and breathes inside that website, making sure it is the most comprehensive, straightforward, easy to use, here's your information website on this planet, at least in this space. But if you link your Discord to your premium membership, you can get alerts on your phone. The very second we place a bet, bzz, bzz, alert on your phone. Oh, Angelo bet on so-and-so. As soon as we have odds for this fight, as long as there's nothing ridiculous, I will be betting on this fight because I'm pretty confident in what's going to happen here. We got Andre Lima taking on Felipe dos Santos. Andre Lima, solid striker. He will invest in the body early. He has solid technique. He uses it well. He throws combinations. He's not lazy with anything. He will mix up strikes. He essentially is a pure striker, though, with solid defense, meaning he's not looking to get his own takedowns, and his takedown defense does hold up. He's got some solid submission defense as well. He's got a decent get-up game. But if it does end up on the ground, that's all it is. It's all defense. He's trying not to let it go to the ground. He's trying not to be submitted. He's trying to stand up. He doesn't shoot offensive takedowns. He's developed skills to keep fights standing because that's where he wants them. He does have 2 takedowns in the UFC, but that's not his game plan. He's coming off that close win over Mitch Raposo, where he was taken down but controlled the striking. He's taking on Felipe dos Santos. He is a shoot-a-box fighter through and through. He's aggressive. He's dangerous. He's good everywhere. He's got the dyed hair. But like most shoot-a-box fighters, he is very, very hittable. He likes to pressure forward, throwing everything, but it leaves him wide open for counters and even takedowns. He is capable on the ground, and he does have takedowns of his own, but they're not great, and he slows down late in fights. He will take chances, and it doesn't always work out for him. He is coming off that close decision win over Victor Altamirano, where he was taken down 9 times. Again, no odds, but I do like Felipe dos Santos here. He has shown in both his wins and his losses that he's an absolute dog. He remains dangerous. He pressures forward. He never accepts positions, and he can make any fight that he's in ugly. Lima is good, but I think Santos is going to be too much. Lima struggled at times with Severino. That was 2 fights ago. That was the dude who bit him. Severino was pressuring forward. Andre Lima didn't like that. Ultimately, Severino bit Andre Lima, so he was DQ'd and cut. Felipe dos Santos is going to nonstop move forward. And if Andre Lima didn't like Severino's pressure, he's going to hate Felipe dos Santos's. So Felipe dos Santos is the pick. And if he somehow ends up being the dog, I'm definitely going to load up on him. And if he's a slight favorite, I'll be there too. And if you're wondering, what the hell just happened? Why was there a jump cut in the middle of this breakdown? Why are Angelo's eyes red? I don't know. All of a sudden, my right eye is freaking out. The contact lens is doing flips and swirls in there. I don't know what the hell's going on. And I'm trying to blink it out and rub it. You may watch me go blind in a breakdown. I don't know what the hell is going on with my contact lens right now. But hey, listen, we power through. We power through. We're up till 2 o'clock in the morning filming the recap. We get up and we hit the grindstone because I know you people want these Sunday morning videos. And I appreciate that because you guys are vocal about it. Hey, Angelo, I love watching these videos with some coffee on Sunday. So now I'm obligated. I feel like I'm a part of the routine. I feel like I'm a part of your lives. I have to deliver on time every week. And that's what I'm doing. This is my Jordan flu game. But instead of having the flu, I've got a contact lens issue. And eyes are very important, guys. How the hell am I going to read my notes with one eye? But we'll figure it out. We're going to power through. Jordan flu game. Then we have Steve Garcia taking on Kyle Nelson. I'll tell you right now, I'm going to make my pick. I have low confidence in this pick, and I'll walk you through why. But this feels like a problem. This fight feels like it's going to be a problem. I don't know why. It's just coming from my gut. Before you call me fat, no, there's a lot of stuff that comes from your gut, you enormous pig. Before you go there, I beat you to it, so now you can't say it. This is just, I don't know what it is. There's just a weird feeling about this fight. But we'll break it down. We're going to start on the Kyle Nelson side. Kyle Nelson's a solid striker. He's got very real power in his hands. He's been in the UFC since 2018, and he's cruising forward, getting some wins. He's finally starting to find his rhythm. He's got solid takedown defense. He does a really good job using his opponent's shots to create scrambles, and he ends up on top. He does a great job making fights ugly and winning just with pure toughness. He's coming off that upset knockout win over Bill Algeo, where he pressured forward and came out swinging. He cracked him hard, but some people do think that was an early stoppage because if you remember, Bill Algeo was just standing up. The ref stopped it standing. The cage wasn't holding him up. He was just standing on his own accord. And the ref's like, no, whoa, I've seen too much. This gentleman loses. He's taking on Steve Garcia. And despite having some very solid grappling, Steve Garcia has made a name for himself with his striking, with his boxing. He likes to come forward with big strikes that either put you away or set up a takedown. His striking is very solid. He has nice movement, big power, decent speed. He's not afraid to mix it up, but he can get himself into trouble by being too aggressive. He's very tough. He's always working forward. He is riding a 4-fight win streak. All of those wins are by knockout. And how long can Steve Garcia win for? Can he be on a 5-fight win streak, a 5-fight knockout streak? And if so, now he's a contender at featherweight. 5 wins in a row at featherweight is literally more than anybody in the top 5. And Ilya is the champion, so he's not in the top 5, right? They don't rank the champion. That's just the C. Everybody else has a number. In the top 5 of the UFC's featherweight division, nobody has a 5-fight win streak. If Steve Garcia wins, all of a sudden he does. And with all that being said, This is a tough fight. This is a lot tougher than people think. I see people all over, oh, Steve Garcia. And I think a lot of those people still think Kyle Nelson sucks. And there was a period of time where I thought Kyle Nelson sucked. And now he found his rhythm. He's finding his own. He's comfortable in the octagon. He's moving forward. He's making things happen. We saw power in his last fight. Steve tends to just run forward, almost inviting punches to come his way. I am picking Steve Garcia because I don't have a tangible reason not to. And probably outside of walking into a right hand, he should win this fight. But this just, I'll tell you right now, Steve Garcia is not going to be in a safety parlay. Like, there's just something about this fight. I don't know what it is, and good, let me be wrong. Let me be too cautious and wrong than too confident and wrong, because then you lost money. I'd rather not bet on a fight and wish I did than bet on it and be like, what the hell am I doing? I had a gut feeling that this was blah, blah, blah. Steve Garcia should win this fight. He is going to be the pick for those reasons. But it is a low confidence pick, and I might do under 2.5 here because Steve clearly has the power to make it happen. We just saw Kyle Nelson has a little bit of power himself. We're going to ride with Steve, though. We're going to root for Steve. 5-fight win streak. Here we come. Then we have Trevor Peek taking on Yanal Ashmouz. Trevor Peek, quite literally, might be the worst fighter in the UFC, at least as far as skill is concerned. Not jawline, spectacular jawline. Eyes, top 5 scary eyes. Look at him. That looks like the face of a gentleman running a meth lab in the middle of the woods. You roll up. Excuse me, I'm lost. Which way is Legacy Avenue? This guy answers the door with a shotgun. Overalls, no t-shirt. And you're like, nah, I'm good. Wrong house. Bye. Trevor Peek's a very scary man. He's a full-blown psycho. And he fights like that in the octagon. He's a high-pressure fighter. He only knows one single pace. He keeps his hands open, literally just starts winging, punching from all directions, and charges forward. If he is close to you, he will grab you. He'll try to throw you to the ground. He'll try to take your head off. If he is at distance, he's going to move in every ridiculous direction and try to work his way close. He has borderline zero fighting skills whatsoever, but he is high pressure. He has no problem taking one to give one, and he can break people. He's coming off that loss to Charlie Campbell, where at one point, he was holding Charlie's arm and just twisting it. Literally, just holding his arm and twisting it. It was like an Indian burn from middle school. I saw that, and I was like, this guy has no idea how to fight. Does that mean I would want to fight him? No. He's a psychopath. He's like an animal. He literally would just not stop coming forward no matter what. He could have his leg caught in a bear trap, and he's still just going to keep moving forward. So I don't want this to come across like insanely insulting. Some people have grit and guts and determination. Some people have skills and they're cowards. I would rather, if I had to pick a side, would I rather be Herbert Burns, the quitter coward of the century over here with some actual skills, or Trevor Peek with no skills whatsoever, but not a quitter? I would pick this side all day. Dude, I can work on the skills. I can't work on being a quitter. That was a long rant to shit on Herbert Burns for like the 3rd week in a row. He's taking on Yanal Ashmouz. Yanal Ashmouz is a well-rounded guy. He does a good job adjusting in his fights. He's going to come out striking first, throw heavy, maybe even work in a spinning attack or two, and then adjust to the wrestling if he isn't having the success that he thought he would on the feet. He's got a solid chin, a very solid base. He can be heavy on top if he takes you down. There's nothing explicitly amazing about Yanal, but he is powerful. He can grind out wins. He's coming off that decision loss to Chris Duncan, where he did hurt his arm early and just showcased that toughness and continued to bomb away. Skill for skill, as I mentioned, Trevor Peek might literally be the worst fighter in the UFC roster. Just raw skills. He's legit terrible. Absolutely horrible. Insane how little skill he has, but he is ridiculously durable. Insanely tough. You could hit him with a 2x4 across the face, and he's just going to come forward with his trash technique and not stop moving. He's like a redneck Terminator. I can't possibly pick somebody, though, with as little skill as he has. Yanal is going to be the pick here. He is literally better everywhere, and I hope tough enough to withstand whatever crazy comes his way. Yanal's the dog. I threw a little bit of money on him as a dog, but again, I'm having some fun talking about the actual skills of Trevor Peek. Like if he entered a jiu-jitsu tournament or if he was in a situation where the skills were what were being assessed. But the reality is this is a fist fight. And the dude can throw hands and fight. This is going to be an interesting, I'm looking forward to it. Trevor Peek is always fun. He was a little slow to start in his last fight, but Trevor Peek's a guy that will probably always have a job with the UFC despite some gaping holes in the skills because of the pressure, because of his fight style. He's a fun guy to watch. I have the money on Yanal. I can't possibly bet on Trevor Peek, but I hope it's an exciting fight and he gets to keep his job because in all reality, you need the Trevor Peeks of the world to come out there, make some of these random fight night cards exciting as hell. Then we have Matt Schnell taking on Alessandro Costa. This is a pretty straightforward fight, honestly. What I'm not gonna do is dance around to burn up some time. We end up with an hour video and then some short attention span having dork is like, why was this video 1 hour? Go watch. I mention this every week. There is no shortage of children at home with webcams and Tapology in the background breaking down fights who are monotone reading the screen. There is no shortage of that. My YouTube algorithm sends me those videos every day. People with all sorts of thumbnails trying to copy what we got going on. People with Tapology being like, well, we have Matt Schnell taking on Alessandro Costa. It looks like Alessandro is 3-2 in his last 5. He's coming off of a win. Matt Schnell is 1-3. So I think Alessandro Costa, no. But I'm not going to extend. I'm not going to make this breakdown longer than it needs to be. I'm going to get right to the point and give you the pick and move on because I care very much what the people who skip around the videos, just want the picks and leave care. I care very much about them. So we have Matt Schnell. Tough as nails. Okay, I'm not taking my time. I'm racing through this. I know, I'm done fucking around. We got Matt Schnell. He is a tough as nails guy. He does have solid BJJ. He prefers the counter strike. He does a great job getting you to follow him so he can plant his feet and fire back with combinations. He doesn't shoot very often. He averages fewer than 1 takedown per fight, but his BJJ is slick and he snatches things up in scrambles. But while he can be slick on the ground, he does struggle to get it there. He's got a low 44% takedown accuracy. He's coming off that knockout loss to Steve Erceg, where he uncharacteristically brought the fight. He just came charging forward to get into Steve's face, and Steve badoinked him. He's taking on Alessandro Costa. Solid striker. Pretty good takedown defense. His striking style is high, tight guard, and patient. He will wait to find his spots. But when he does decide to throw, he throws with 100% intent, and he does a really nice job of small combinations. Like bam, bam, boom. 3, 4 strikes maybe. And then he resets, waits for his spots, finds it, and explodes again. He'll leap in with a left to a body and then just a right up top to the head. He's got very real power, insane leg kicks, but he can be low volume. And he's coming off that finish win over Kevin Borjas. Matt Schnell is insanely tough. He has one of the greatest comebacks in the history of the UFC. If you did not see his fight versus Sumerjerji, just search on YouTube. Literally one of the greatest comebacks in history. He wasn't faking. He was almost finished, survived, and then finished. The problem is, we don't know how tough you are. I can't sit here and brag about how tough somebody is or speak on their behalf. Right? Matt Schnell is insanely tough. If we don't see you get your ass kicked. That's the only way we know you're tough is because we watched you get the piss kicked out of you and you just kept moving forward. Matt Schnell is tough. We have seen him get his ass kicked many, many times in wins and losses. And I do think all of those wars and all of those ass kickings have caught up to him. His chin is gone. Costa is somebody that you can't just tough your way through. Alessandro Costa should dominate here, a very high confident pick. And then we have our co-main event of the evening. This is a great fight. This feels very similar to what we just saw at UFC Vegas 96 when they said, here's Michael Morales and he's taking on Neil Magny. Here is a young up-and-comer who's on a streak taking on a tried-and-true vet. Now we have Natalia Silva, a young up-and-comer on a streak, taking on a former world champion, tried-and-true vet in Jessica Andrade. It feels very similar. Are we going to get the same outcome? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about that. That's from the YouTube channel Good Mythical Morning. I love those guys. Anyway, we got Jessica Andrade, former world champion, as I mentioned, a contender at multiple weight classes. She can bounce up and down and then still put it on to some people in the top 10 and have some success. She's beaten some of the best women that have ever fought in the divisions. She's certainly fought everybody worth anything. Style-wise, decent striker, insane amount of power. both in her hands and just her physical ability. We'll never forget when she picked up Rose and dumped her on her head to win the belt. Her BJJ is not great. Her takedown defense isn't either. But she will force fights to the ground offensively. She'll pound away on top. If she gets taken down, she'll try to keep it tight, try to work her way back up. Jessica Andrade is a full-blown bully. She will move forward, stay in your face, try to win this fight just with pure physicality. And if you let her close and you let her get her hands on you, she will push you around and she will bully you. She's coming off the very close win over Marina Rodriguez to make it 2 in a row. And a nice little streak. She's taking on Natalia Silva. Natalia Silva is the opposite. She is not a bully. She's not very physically imposing. She's just well-rounded with plenty of technique. She's always fun to watch because she's got good technical striking. She'll occasionally throw some punches from her hips, maybe work in a spinning attack, but she does a good job baiting you into striking matches, and then she'll offensively wrestle. She got solid upper body takedowns, good control on top, insanely powerful if she lets her hands fly. And we've not only seen her finish people, but she didn't finish them in the 3rd round, so we know she can carry her power late. She's coming off that decision win over Vivian Araujo. Natalia Silva is very good, and we will find out how good she is in this fight. This is an amazing fight to understand where she falls in the division. Her win streak is not only impressive because of how long it is, but also because it includes a combination of prospects, veterans, strikers, grapplers. She's beaten almost every type of person, and now finally she's going to get the opportunity to fight a former world champion. So far in the UFC, Natalia Silva has looked amazing. I have no reason to think that she will not beat Jessica Andrade. Obviously, Andrade is a brute, physically imposing, but Natalia has great movement, good takedown defense, and is the more skilled fighter overall. Natalia Silva is going to be the pick. I am looking forward to seeing what this does to her career. Genuinely, I love Natalia Silva. The way she beat Jasmine Jasudavicius was wildly impressive, and that win just ages better and better every single time she fights. Natalia Silva is going to be the pick, but hopefully Jessica doesn't come play spoiler like she has in the past, and that's what happens when you have 26 wins and you've been ranked in the top 5 for like 7 years. And then we have the main event of the evening. This is a very good main event. Similar to the last fight. We got the younger prospect taking on the aging vet. We got Gilbert Burns taking on Sean Brady. Gilbert Burns, as we all know at this point, is a very good grappler who has developed some striking. He has impressive power. He is willing to throw down. He's a little undersized for the division. You'll see their heights are the same, but he's just physically a little smaller than a lot of people at this weight class. But he's fast, he's powerful, he's very tough. He is not his quitter brother. Don't see the last name and cast some judgments. His brother's a quitter. Gilbert Burns is not. He'll hang around. He's certainly hung in there with the division's elite. And he's coming off that last-second finish loss to Jack Della Maddalena where he was dominating. He was going to win that fight, and then he got blasted with a knee and finished in the 3rd round. But he was on his way to winning that fight. He's taking on Sean Brady. Sean Brady's a high-level grappler. He's got some power in his hands. Nothing crazy, though. Let's not get... I should honestly not even say that. But he's a high-level grappler. He plots forward. He will throw some bombs. He'll even work in a spinning back fist before shooting a takedown. He can be dangerous on his feet. He's definitely dangerous on the ground. He does tend to have some a little cardio issue here and there. Nothing crazy, but he can slow down in 5 rounds. That might be a problem. He has learned how to rest on top, though, so he can get a takedown. He averages more than 3 per fight, and then he'll chill. He'll stay. He'll control. He won't blow his load on top. He's coming off that win over Kelvin Gastelum, where he had 5 takedowns and the eventual submission. And if I didn't just watch Sean Brady bring the wrestling to Kelvin, I might be a little more wishy-washy here, but I did see that fight. I saw Sean take Kelvin down without issue, and Kelvin was a collegiate wrestler. Like, he's an idiot who misses weight, but he's a high-level wrestler. And watching Sean just body him in the wrestling was impressive. I saw Sean avoid trouble on the feet. I saw Sean dominate the grappling, and I have to assume it's more of the same here. Everybody loves talking about what an amazing grappler Gilbert Burns is. And while I am sure he is, and if this was a pure jiu-jitsu tournament, he would do well, and he has done well in his younger years. But that jiu-jitsu, with these little baby arms, doesn't translate as well into the UFC, certainly not at a high level. He has 1 submission win in his last 11 fights, and that was over Neil Magny. Whoever shoots first is going to win this fight, and I am very confident that Sean Brady is going to shoot first. I don't think he's afraid of Gilbert's BJJ. We have seen the improved wrestling on Sean's side. Sean is going to be the pick, Minus 170 odds feels like a discount. I do like Gilbert Burns. He's been wildly entertaining for years. I think it's the beginning of the end, unfortunately, for him. And this is going to be a losing skid. Sean Brady should get the win. Guys, that's the breakdown. And before I close this out, let me just show you the bets again. This is what we did at UFC Vegas 96. Go take a look at the recap to see what we did at UFC Vegas 305. The card before that. The card before that. We are on a heater. We have been doing very, very well with our straight bets. We're doing very well with the safety parlay. Jacob's Underdog Lock of the Week has been wildly impressive this entire year. You can unlock all the picks, all the bets, everything that we do for $10 a month. WeWantPicks.com, click Become a Member. Not only are you going to get access to bets that you can just copy paste if that's what you wanted to do, but you're also going to get access to the safety parlay, which is one of those bets, but insanely stable. You're also going to get access to tools. You can do your own research. The data analyzer, quite literally the greatest research tool in this space. It is missing nothing. It has anything you could ever want in one single tool. You can watch the fights themselves. You can pull reports. You can get fighters in future events. It's insane what you can do with this tool, and it is ready for you right now for all events coming up for the rest of this year. You can get the Prop Hunter, a curated set of data specifically designed to help you find prop bets. You have access to the line movement tracker. This is going to give you the opening odds, the current odds, the win probability, and the line movement for every fighter on every card. You have access to the DraftKings Optimizer, which is preloaded to the best ownership projections on planet Earth. And you have access to other cappers. It's myself. It's Jakey Boy. We got Artem giving you Dana White Contender Series, PFL, LFA, Bellator, all of the regional shows. And then we have the artificial intelligence that's picking fights based solely off of historical data and is doing so at a remarkable accuracy. Guys, we wake up every day grinding to make this the greatest value in this space. That is a sincere statement. Support us, unlock all the tools, the picks, the bets, and everything else. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member. Thank you so much for watching. I don't know how to express. I know I'm a sarcastic prick. I don't know how to express it without being a sarcastic prick. But you fucking losers are showing up, watching the videos, and I love it. Genuinely appreciate it. Our numbers have been insane. Our growth has been insane. The companies that are reaching out to us to work with us have been insane. I thank every last one of you, and hopefully you see that we care about what we do. We strive to put out the best possible product, not only on the website, but on YouTube as well. And I appreciate every last one of you. Thank you guys so much for everything. Let's have another winning week and enjoy the week off.